I thought we'd do a film today on the basics of the Glock pistols for those who are thinking of buying a Glock pistol or have just bought one. Give you some of the basics of them and some of the options and some of the carry possibilities. So, if you've heard of any kind of pistol, you've probably heard of a Glock pistol. The word Glock now is associated with firearms the same way as in the past, like an Uzi or a Winchester or Remington or something like that. So even if a person has never owned a pistol, they probably know what a Glock is. So I wanted to have a quick look at the different types of Glocks that you can get. I have here, and they're all unloaded. We have 4 different examples for 3 different sizes. We have the subcompact. This is a Glock 27. Close that up. That is used for carry. Some people can use it for pocket carry, in the waistband carry, and also outside the waistband carry. It is a small pistol. This is the same size format, and this is a Glock 26, just in a different caliber. Same type size, exactly the same, just a different caliber. Same height, same length, same everything. Now, going up, these are subcompact pistols. This is a compact pistol, which is considered a compact pistol. This is a Glock 23, and again, this one is the same size as a Glock 19, which is a 9mm. The Glock 23 is in 40 Smith & Wesson. Oh, and I didn't actually go over these because the 27 is 40 Smith & Wesson. The Glock 26 is the 9mm. So, and you can see with this here, the Glock 23, as compared to the Glock 26 or 27, is a little bit longer in length of the barrel and slide, and also length of the grip. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually conceal carry that one, just because it's a little bit bigger. It is still quite possible. I've carried this on numerous occasions, but it is definitely not a pocket gun. Everything else, as in the Glock 26, 27, does apply though. Now, so we have these 3 sizes. Let's move one of the small ones over here. And then we have a big guy. This here is a Glock 41 that just came out last year. It is what they call a Generation 4, which we'll get into later. And actually, here's the empty magazine. I took out the full one because I've been using it as a house gun. So you have a Glock 41, and again, it is bigger yet than the Glock 23, and very much bigger than the Glock 27. This type of pistol, you can still actually carry it. I've used it last year whenever I was carrying outside the waistband underneath the heavy coat. Whenever you actually look at it, it is actually not very much bigger than a 1911 full size, or a Beretta 92 FS full size, or a Browning high power full size. So those are the basics we have in the size. So you can pick a Glock, if you haven't picked one already, according to what size you would like to actually use and what type of purpose that you're going to use. If you're just doing a range gun, definitely something in the Glock 23 or Glock 19 size, you know. And then if you want to get into something a little bit different, you can take the long slide. It's interesting, actually, I just saw recently that a couple of the state police agencies around the United States have actually adopted the Glock 41. So it is a viable carry pistol and self-defense pistol. I actually use it as a house gun. Each one of the Glocks, except for the subcompacts, has a little notch up here where you can actually put a light on it. And that's something I would like to add to it in the future, but haven't done yet to this point. So anyways, while we're thinking about this, actually, while I got this guy in my hand, this is a Gen 4. And you'll hear people talk about Gen 3, Gen 4. So the Glock 23 is a Gen 3, and this one's a Gen 4. You can see here, let's see, possibly, it has a different grip surface here. This has little dots on it. That is a little bit rougher, actually, as you're holding it, and probably does increase the grip capability in wet weather. Both of them have the little finger notches, which you either love or you hate. My fingers, as you can see right here, fit perfectly on them, so I'm quite happy with that. Some people, they don't, if they've got bigger fingers or smaller fingers, and they may end up having to change the grips, do like a custom work on them. So let's take a look at the Gen 3 and Gen 4. Again, the biggest thing about the Gen 4s is that you get these adjustable back straps. You get 3 in the set, and each one is basically you can carry it with nothing on it, which is what I do now. You can get one that gives you a little bit more width to the grip on it, and no beaver tail, no extra beaver tail, I should say. And then you have two other ones that'll give you even larger beaver tail to it. Now, if I was shooting this thing competition and I was more concerned about the pistol flipping back on me, and also I really wanted like a bigger grip, I would go with something like this. But as a carry pistol or as a home defense gun, I just leave it off because I find that it's more comfortable for my size hands without the extra grip on it. And also another difference with the Gen 3 and the Gen 4s, I'm just trying to clear off a few things so I can show you. This guy, the Gen 4, let's move these guys over here, 23, 27, all of our back straps, nowadays comes in a very nice case that you can use, and you can put a cable lock through that and you actually can lock it. The old ones, if you ever hear them talk about tactical Tupperware, where that comes from is literally the case that this 23 came in. Fits in here like this. Actually, let me bring it back over here. So the old cases, empty, drop the hammer, put it back in. The old cases literally look like a Tupperware container in that you actually literally have to pop the lid on, and whenever you want to take it apart, you just pop open the thing just as you would if you're getting your sandwich out for lunch. So pluses for that was that it was inexpensive. Minuses was that, you know, it really didn't add to the owner pride and desirability of having tactical Tupperware. So they did do an improvement whenever they went to the Gen 4. Gen 4s also come with 3 magazines in the set, whereas before they only had 2. How another look here actually at these pistols, another thing too, this is a 45 ACP, the Glock 41. And you can see this 45 ACP Glock 41, the slides are exactly the same width, which I like, because the prior ones were wider. The grip, though, is just a little bit wider, and you can feel it, although to me it isn't really a deal breaker. So carrying 13 rounds of 45 ACP versus 13 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson, there are differences in it. It will make it a little bit more difficult to carry, but it is doable. So now, another thing we want to look at here, we went over the Gen 3, Gen 4, and we went over the sizes. Also caliber selection. Now I have a 9mm, I have a 40 Smith & Wesson, 240 Smith & Wessons, and the debate keeps going back and forth. Now if you live long enough, which I did, I actually ended up buying the Glock 17 on the first year that it was introduced into the United States, which also turned out to be the first year that I was 21 years old, which in Pennsylvania means that I could buy a pistol. So I've been around Glocks for basically my entire shooting life, where I could actually legally buy a pistol. So I've seen the 9mm go out of favor and the 40 come into favor. I've seen now the 40 Smith & Wesson go out of favor and the 9mm come into favor again. Either one actually works. You won't go wrong picking either one. Between these two pistols here, I have 9 rounds of 40. I have 10 rounds of 9mm. Not really a big difference. If you use full size or full power loads in the 40 Smith & Wesson, I do think you have a slight advantage as far as shot to shot. But then with the 9mm, you have an advantage if you use plus Ps to get it closer to the high power 40 Smith & Wessons, and then you have an additional shot. So you take your choices, take them out to the range, shoot whichever one basically you end up shooting the best is the one I would suggest that you pick. One other thing I want to go across here is carry. Now, like I said before, you can actually do a Glock 26 or 27 as a pocket carry gun. And right here I have a DeSantis holster, Nemesis, and it works very good for pocket carry. You need to have a big pocket. You can't wear tight jeans. What I usually do is wear a pair of cargo shorts, and it works very well. The next thing you can do is a waistband carry outside the waistband. This is a Phobos holster. They're generally inexpensive, and they work extremely well. They hold the pistol very well, and they're easy to draw. You do get that little schnick as you pull it out, which some people like and some people dislike. Well, nobody probably likes it. Everybody either is okay with it or they dislike it. You can also buy leather. And I have one here that I use on a regular basis as well for an outside the waistband. And this has a security strap on it, or a retention, I say a security strap, thumb brake. It's not going to stop somebody from pulling your pistol out if they hit the thumb brake, but it is a nice little holster and is very doable for outside the waistband carry. The other one we have here is inside the waistband carry, and this one here is made so that you can actually tuck your shirt in around it, which I like, because then you don't have to wear a shirt that's out, because same thing as like a fanny pack or something like that. If you're wearing your shirt out and you have a little bulge underneath it, people are going to be thinking, this guy probably has a gun. So that's it for real quick for holsters. And I just wanted to go over real quick just to show you the basics of this, because people are wondering what they want to do with a Glock, probably making decisions on whether or not they want to buy a Glock and so on. So one more real quick thing, I'll just show you how easy it is to disassemble. So this pistol is empty. We'll take the magazine out, sit it over there, empty pistol, and always point it into a safe direction. Even if you know that it's empty, point it in a safe direction. Always assume that they're loaded. So you drop the hammer, and then up here in the front, you have these two little tabs on either side. You got to take a finger on both sides and pull down on that while you pull back the slide slightly. So pull back the slide slightly, pull down, and it comes straight off of the rail. Once you have it off, just pop your spring out, and voila, you are totally disassembled Glock. And in each one of the Glock cases, either the Gen 3s or the Gen 4s, they also have cleaning rods and a cleaning brush in there that you can use. And you can, of course, buy other things too. You know, nothing really too special about the Glock barrels and stuff. Although they do last an extremely long time. There's people that have used 100,000 rounds through, especially the 9mm Glocks. And whenever you take it apart, you'll want to clean the surfaces here. The rails here in the back, you have 4 little tiny rails. That's actually what the slide rides on. So you clean that, clean here where the locking block goes together. That's where the barrel sits in there. And as it recoils, it actually pushes it back and up. And that's how you end up opening your slide and unlocking the action to allow the case to be extracted. So clean your barrel. Just get all of the surfaces clean. And just gently clean this. You can clean a little bit down here in the magazine well as well. And also clean your slide, interior slide rail surfaces. Up here gets a little bit mucked up as you're shooting. And of course right here in the ejection port gets also gunpowder residue in there, and the face of the breech. And if I would run also like a pipe cleaner or a cleaning rag underneath of the extractor. Now, one of the big things too about the Glock is, and I'll put this guy back together while we're talking, is that they don't really need a lot of extra oil on them. And as a matter of fact, if you put too much oil on them, you'll end up actually causing problems with attracting dirt. And as you can see there, I just put together the slide in just a few seconds. Line up your rail surfaces with your slide surfaces, and I'm kind of at an odd angle here because I'm talking and doing this at the same time. Just slide it back. Shouldn't be any real resistance. If there is, have a look at it, make sure you're lined up, and boom, you're right back into being reassembled. So one of the nicer and easiest pistols to take down and clean and reassemble. So anyways, those are just some basics about the Glock, and just wanted to throw out a video there, just so some people who are thinking about getting a Glock, or maybe somebody who just bought a Glock, can have some other things to think about. They're a very nice pistol. I've gone over to 1911s, Berettas, Brownings, and really I always seem to come back to the Glock as a carry pistol. To me, it is the best of everything together. It's lightweight, it's reliable, it carries a decent amount of ammunition, and they last an extremely long time whenever you use them for concealed carry or at range, or for a range gun. They can get some crazy high numbers of actually round counts before you have failures on them. So anyways, that's what I say about the Glock. And there's a lot of pistols out there, but Glock is one of the better ones and very worth your consideration. Thank you very much. This is Snowball042 and out.